Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about one of the most frequently asked questions in my DMs. If you're not already doing it, you want to be a part of it, and it's causing such a buzz around the internet that everybody wants to get involved. So what am I talking about? People keep on asking me, Anaki, how do I get started with investing in stocks? So today I'm here to answer that very question for you. If you're very interested in getting started in trading stock, this is the video for you. So get some pen and paper and write a few notes down, because I'm going to tell you step by step what you need to do to actually get started in trading stock. Now, before I go into that step-by-step detail, I like to lay the foundation. So I'm going to start out by saying what stocks are and why would you even want to get started investing in them in the first place. All right, so what is a stock? A stock is part ownership of a company. That is it in the simplest of terms. Stocks are also called shares or equity. So you want to imagine a company as a cake or as a pie, and you cut that cake or pie into slices. Each slice would represent a part ownership of that whole cake. So that is what a share would be to a company. So business owners around the world often need money to be able to grow their business or invest in their ideas. So what they will do is invite investors to put up some money to help them to grow that business, and promise the investors part ownership of the business and also part benefit from whatever profit that company generates. So the first reason investors would participate in trading shares is to get that dividend. The dividend is part of the profit that a company generates from its regular day-to-day activities. And then the second reason you'd want to invest in shares is the fact that you are able to sell your shares for a price higher than you originally purchased it. So shares are traded on what you call a stock exchange, which is a marketplace for buying and selling shares. And the shares of a company, the price doesn't stay the same. The price will change dependent on how well the company has performed and how well the company is expected to perform in the future. So if you have a company that you purchase as a particular price, and then the product that company sells gains in popularity, then people will be coming to you wanting to sell. Well, not coming to you directly, but people on the stock market will want to purchase those shares at a price higher than you purchased it, and therefore you would make a profit. So that is it in a nutshell, right? So now that we know what shares are and why you'd want to trade shares, let's get into getting started. All right, so the first step in getting started with trading shares is that you want to do a personal assessment. Now guys, I will always start here because I'm a fundamentalist at heart, and because investments are supposed to meet our personal goals. It's not about keeping up with the Joneses, but ensuring that we are able to meet the goals that we set out to take, right? So you want to do a personal assessment to determine what your goals are and what your risk tolerance is. I've done a video about this in the past, but assessing your own financial goals and risk tolerance will help you to determine if shares are even right for you, because shares are a risky investment. It will also determine for you, if it is right for you, what proportion of your investments you want to put into stocks. You may want to put 50% of your savings or 30% of your savings, all dependent on you, your goals, your timeline, all of those things. So a personal assessment, determine what your goals are, determine what your risk tolerance is, that is always recommended. All right, so now that you're sure what your goals are and that stocks are right for you, the next thing you want to do is to put some money together to start your stock portfolio. Previously I had done a video about what are some of the things that you can get invested in with the minimal amount of money, and stocks were one of them, and I still stand behind that. But the reason I am mentioning putting money together here is a kind of caution. There is a common perception that you're gonna start trading stocks with $100 and become a millionaire overnight. Yes, stocks grow very rapidly, and it is possible for you to literally double your money in a very short space of time. However, if you were to invest $100 and then the price of your stock doubles, then you would now have $200, as opposed to someone who invested $500, $500,000. They would be now a millionaire overnight. You see the difference? So both of you would have experienced the same amount of growth, but growth on what amount of money? So I just want to put that in there just to manage our expectations a little bit. But that is not to say that you shouldn't start where you are. You should definitely start where you are, but it will take the amount of time for you to get to your goals will depend on what amount you start with, right? So now that you have that settled, the next thing you need to do is to open a stock brokerage account. What's a brokerage account? All right, so stocks trade on what is called a stock exchange, and stock exchanges are a marketplace where shares are bought and sold. But you and I are not able to just walk up to the stock exchange and place an order. We can't just go up and say, hey, I want to purchase some Google shares. No. You know, only authorized persons can transact on the stock exchange, and these are called brokers. So for each of us to be able to participate in shares, we need a broker to transact this business on our behalf. So each broker, you will open an account with them, and any shares that you own, they will hold them for you in this particular account. We have several stock exchanges here in the Caribbean. We have the Eastern Caribbean Stock Exchange, the Barbados Stock Exchange, the Trinidad Stock Exchange, and the Jamaica Stock Exchange. And within each of these different countries or regions, you are able to open brokerage accounts with different brokers. A lot of us in the Caribbean are also very interested in purchasing shares in the US, because the US Stock Exchange has really been performing well despite the pandemic. And that is one of the things people ask me all the time: how do I get to trade stocks in the US? All right, so one thing that has made it more accessible to us in the region is the boom of online brokers, where you are able to set up online trading accounts. You do the whole KYC process, and you set up accounts that you can access online and place your orders online. Two of these companies that I know of are TD Ameritrade and Inter Ameritrade. These are two companies that I know of people within the region using to purchase shares on the US Stock Exchange. However, recently there have been reports that some people aren't being accepted. There may have been a change in policy where they are limiting the amount of persons from the Caribbean that they are willing to accept, and some request things like social security numbers, which would be limited to the persons of US citizenship. So there is that limitation that can come up. However, there are regional brokers who do offer that as a service, where the brokers in the region have an account overseas and are willing to transact these purchases on the US Stock Exchange on your behalf. Because you would be going through a secondary broker, that might be a little bit more expensive than going directly to a US broker. However, depending on which shares you trade, the profits that you make may very well compensate for whatever fees you have to pay locally. So in this step of the process, you need to find a broker that trades on the stock exchange that you want to participate in and set up an account. The brokers are going to require you to open different account forms. Of course, you need to provide ID, maybe 2 forms of ID. They will also ask you to verify things like your address and also the source of the money that you want to invest. And this is the boring part. This is the paperwork part. So you want to get that done quickly, and you don't want to wait until you're hot to buy a share to set up the brokerage account, because it can take some time, especially if the brokerage account that you want to open is not in the country where you are. It can take some time. So I recommend that you get that account open right away, so that when you are ready to actually buy those shares, you can just hit the ground running. Once you find a share that you want to purchase and you have done that little admin side to set up the brokerage account, then you can just run out and buy your shares. All right, so now that you have your brokerage account open, you would have already put some money together and you know exactly what proportion of your investment portfolio you want to put in shares and the type of shares that you need to buy. All that's left for you to do now is to place your order and buy your shares, and that's it. And your broker will do the transactions for you. You will be able to participate in all of the excitement and the profits of trading on the stock exchange. And I personally find trading stock to be kind of exciting, kind of thrilling, kind of nerve-wracking sometimes, but you know, I find it to be very worthwhile, and hopefully you will too, right? There is quite a bit of work that goes into purchasing shares. You want to do research, you want to determine what kind of stocks are good for you, you want to look at different factors to determine if a stock is even a good buy. And I'll look at those kind of things in another video, but for now, these are the steps that you need to take just to get started with trading stocks. So open your brokerage account today so that when the opportunity comes up, you are already ready. All right, thanks for watching. Bye for now.